Camping brings peace and healing, but sometimes the forest has another plan. What would you do if across the river, high in the trees, something was already watching you? Good evening, fellow creeps. This is Kim, your storyteller, and welcome to another episode here on Creepy with Coffee. Like usual, if you have yet to do so, please help me like and also subscribe to the channel. If you could share it with your family and friends, that would be lovely. If you have done so, now let's get into the story.
This is Creepy with Coffee.
It was the long Deepavali holidays. The weather was still warm, and my head felt heavy with the usual daily routines. So I invited my regular camping gang for a little healing trip. Unfortunately, everyone already had plans. Everyone except Kak R and her family. It was a last-minute booking, but we managed to secure a campsite at a newly opened spot near Hulu Tamu, Batang Kali. Luckily, even though the place was new, the facilities were decent. There were sinks, toilets with a septic tank system, clean running water, and a grassy, shaded plots. The only downside was the lack of proper trash management, but we didn't mind. We had already brought our own large black garbage bags. But what really got me excited was the river. The water was crystal clear, shallow and calm, just safe enough for kids to play in, as long as an adult kept an eye on them. Across the river, it looked like a farmland, though still shaded by thick clusters of trees. This view was peaceful, almost dreamlike. We planned to camp for 3 days and 2 nights. One night simply wasn't enough to recharge. Kak R, who had camped in a long time, was especially excited. She arrived early in the morning while I only turned up later in the afternoon, setting up my auto tent leisurely. No husband and wife drama trying to figure out poles and ropes. The first night went smoothly. We ate, chatted, and drank coffee. The kids weren't tired yet, still full of energy, playing, laughing, and the air was cool and the campfire glowing steadily. The second day was equally calm. The sound of the river, children's laughter, mothers cooking while gossiping. At the same time, the air was filled with life. But on the second night, after our barbecue dinner, I started feeling sticky from the heat and smoke. So quite late, I decided to head to the restroom for another shower. That's when everything changed. The moment I stepped out from the restroom, the air felt different. The night breeze was still blowing, but it carried a strange heaviness, like something was following me, watching me. When I turned my head around to look, nothing. I brushed it off and continued walking towards my tent. But for some reason, my eyes were drawn across the river. And that's when my heart nearly stopped. Perched high up in one of the large trees across the river was a figure, white, standing motionless among the branches. It looked like human, but not quite. Its entire body was tightly wrapped like in the burial shroud. Her face was hidden, but its presence radiated a sharp, suffocating aura. It knew I was looking. It knew I had noticed. And that moment I realized it had been watching me all along. I couldn't scream. My legs felt heavy, like they refused to move, but somehow I snapped back, forcing myself inside the tent. The children and my husband were still under the fly sheet, sitting near the fire, but I quickly called them in. Abang, adik, masuk. One by one they followed, except my eldest. That boy loved the campfire too much, always entranced by the smoke and the embers. I watched from inside. Not long after, he suddenly bolted into the tent, his face pale, his breathing heavy, his eyes wide in terror. I didn't have to ask. I already knew. He saw it too. But I still whispered, "Shh, don't say anything. Not now. We'll I'll talk about it when we are at home. That night, I insisted he wash up before sleeping. A campfire smoke clung strongly to him. He was too scared to go alone, so his younger sibling accompanied him. Thankfully, the younger one was braver, calmer. The next morning came. The sky was blue, and the smell of coffee drifted lazily between the tents. The kids splashed around in the river again as if nothing had happened. But me, every now and then I glanced across the river, searching. The tree was empty. No signs of anything ever standing there, just leaves swaying gently in the daylight. It was as if the whole night had been nothing more than a dream. By Wednesday, both Ka'ar and I were back in the office. We sat down with coffee, reminiscing about the trip. Out of nowhere, she told me, "Hey, you know, my son the other day was shining his flashlight up the trees that night. I told him not to, but he didn't listen. Suddenly, he ran back into the tent terrified. When I asked why, he said he saw a ghost wrapped in white standing in the tree." My heart started pounding. I looked at her. Slowly, I shared my version, my eldest son's version. Same place, same night, same entity. We realized that the three of us had witnessed the exact same thing. But thank God, it only stood there, watching, silent. Never spoke, never did anything else. Maybe it was just a warning. But sometimes when we go camping, we were never truly alone. This world is filled with other beings too, God's creations beyond our sight. To this day, we haven't stopped camping. Life goes on, but we learn one thing. If you see something out there, don't greet it. Don't shine your light at it. And never ignore when your mother tells you to go back into the tent. If it happened to you, would you still dare to sleep under the stars by the river? Or deep in the forest? Well, that's the episode for tonight. Well, you see, if you go to unfamiliar places especially like the forest, places whereby these things called home, it's actually not surprising to see them there, right? It's like when you go to housing area, you expect to see people because those are people's habitat. Same thing. If you go into the forest, you will tend to see these things because why? It's their home. But one thing you have to keep in mind, be full of respect. Well, you are in their territory. The only thing that you can do is show some respect, right? Do you have a camping story? If yes, drop it down below in the comment, or just a nice words or asking any question that you might have. I read every single comment of yours. Until the next episode, good night.